In this question, they tell us that we have a random group of 1,000 applicants. And it says of those 1,000 applicants, 80% of those pass the written test. So 80% pass the written test. So the first thing I'm going to do is to figure out what is 80% of 1,000 people. So 80% I'm going to write, well, let's just put it like this first of all. 80% of 1,000. 80% is 0.8 of, in math means to multiply, and I get 1,000. And if you multiply those two together, you're going to get 800. So 800 people pass the written test to begin with. And then it says of those 800, 60% of them pass the driving test. So of those 800, 60% of those people will pass. And then they want to know what amount is this 60%. So I'm going to say 60% of 800. And that's what they want me to find. So I'll rewrite 60% as 0.6. Of means multiply, 800. And you multiply those together and you get 480. That would be the number of people I would expect to get a driver's license because they've passed the written and they've passed the driving part. So I'm going to choose choice B. In this question, they say that A, B, and C are positive integers, and then they let us know that X is going to be A raised to the B, and Y is going to be C raised to the B. And they want us to multiply X times Y and find the answer. So if I do that, my X is the A to the B, and the Y is the C to the B. And we have a property when we're working with exponents that if both of these are the same exponents, different bases, we're allowed to remove the exponent, put it back out. It's kind of like undistributing. We're going to remove the B, put it back out, and keep what's inside together. If I were to take the B and redistribute it back in, each one of them would become A to the B, C to the B. So I'm going to choose the answer that says AC raised to the B. And AC raised to the B would be choice H. This question is asking us to come up with an equivalent expression. So we have a choice. We can either distribute the 1/2 y squared to all four of the terms inside and then combine like terms, or we can combine like terms first and then distribute the 1/2 y squared. I'm going to take the second option. I'm going to look up here and see if I have any like terms to begin with. I have 6x's here and 12x's here, and they want me to add those together. So 6 plus 12 would be 18 of those x's. And then I'm going to look at the y's, and I have 2 y's here, positive 2 y's, and negative 2 y's. And if you add those together, you get 0 y's. So I'm going to rewrite this as 1/2 y squared times 18x. And then I'm just going to multiply the 1/2 y squared times the 18x. 1/2 times 18 would be 9. And then I'll put these alphabetical order, x, y squared. So I'm going to choose choice A. This problem talks about an artist making a profit, and they want to know the fewest number of paintings he can sell and still have a profit of at least $60,000. So I'm going to start out by taking the expression that they give me for his profit, and I'm going to say that needs to be at least $60,000. So it could be $60,000 or it could be more than that. So I'm going to put greater than or equal to $60,000. And as I'm writing this, I realize that the exponent that's with the p is to the second power, which means that I have a quadratic, and I'll probably need to factor this. So I'm going to rearrange my terms so that I have them in the order that I need. So I'm going to put the negative p squared first, then plus 500p, and I'm going to subtract the 60,000 to the other side. Then what I'm going to do is divide by -1, because I want my leading term to be positive. And when I do this, all the terms get divided by -1. As I divide by a -1, and this is an inequality, I'm going to remember that I need to change the direction of the inequality sign. So right now I have p squared minus 500p plus 60,000 is less than or equal to 0. And this will factor, and as I factor it, I'm going to set it equal to 0 because I want to use the zero product property. So I'll put a p in the first position in each one of these quantities. And since the last term is positive and the middle term is negative, these are both going to be a negative or a minus minus. And I need two numbers to multiply to give me 60,000, but add to give me negative 500. So if I choose 200 and 300, that will take care of that. Taking each quantity, set it equal to 0, using the zero product property, I'll get 200 for one answer, and I'll get 300 for the other answer. And I'm going to choose the 200 because it says what is the fewest number of paintings. So I want the smallest number of the two answers that I came up with. And that means I choose choice H. This question gives us a breakdown of Lucy's expenditures. She had $900 to start with, and this is what she spent her money on. And it's asking us a question about the category in which she spent the most amount of money. So if you look at the clothing, she spent $254, which is bigger than any other category on there. And they want to know what percent is this $254 out of the total amount that she spent, and we're supposed to round our answer to the nearest 1%. So I'm going to write a little math sentence that says $254 is what percent of the total amount of 900. And if I change this to math symbols, I'll be writing 254. In math, the word is means to put equal. What percent, I'm going to write that as x. Of in math means to multiply, and then I write the 900. So I'm going to treat this as if it's an equation. I'll solve for x. So I'm going to divide by 900 on both sides, and I get x equals, and when you divide that by 900, you get 0.2822. This needs to be written as a percent, and so when you write this as a percent, move the decimal point to the right 2 spots, 1, 2. So the answer I come up with is 28.22%, and they want me to round this to the nearest 1%. Since the 22 after the decimal point is not enough to raise the 28 to a 29, I'm going to just leave this as 28% and choose choice B.